Pow buns are a type of Chinese steamed buns, also known as Pows. It's a popular street food snack that is traditionally filled with savory or sweet fillings. Today I'm going to show you how to make these simple buns, and I'm also going to show you how to fill them with 3 different savory fillings. Alright, so the first filling we're going to be making is char siu pork. So the first thing we're going to do is make the marinade to soak our pork tenderloin in, and then after that we're going to be changing it up a little bit. You know, traditionally this is something that's roasted or baked in the oven, but to speed things up I'm going to cut it into 1-inch slices, add to the marinade, and then we're going to cook on the stovetop. Yeah, so in no particular order, we're going in with our soy sauce, honey, some black pepper, 5-spice powder and star anise, garlic and ginger, brown sugar, hoisin sauce, Xaoxing or rice wine vinegar, and some red food coloring. Alright, so let's give this a mix. We're mixing to incorporate all the ingredients and to also dissolve our brown sugar. So I'm just going to continue to mix this and then start to slice our tenderloin. So here I had it rested on some paper towels to help soak up any residual moisture. So ideally I want to cut it into like some 3/4-inch strips. Now this is tenderloin, so he is not going to take long to cook at all. Right, so once you get him into some nice even slices, directly into the marinade he goes. Normally when you're roasting the whole tenderloin, I would let it soak in the marinade for a minimum of 48 hours. To help quicken the process, we're just gonna slice it up into these smaller pieces and add directly to our marinade. You could use shoulder, you could use the butt. It's really up to you, up to your pocket. I just prefer the tenderloin. Alright, so we're just going to finish up here and then we're going to go over to the stove. Alright, so here I have a frying pan over very high heat. And I'm just going to add my pork directly to the pan. Right, so time to turn. How do I know that? So I'm not sure if the camera could pick this up, but you could see the color around the edges of the pork starting to change. That's a clear indication that it's time to turn. Oh, look at that beautiful char. Right, so we're just gonna let this continue to cook on the other side until fully cooked. Remember, this is tenderloin, so this is gonna cook extremely fast. I ideally want to cook this about 95% of the way through, because while resting it will continue to cook. Actually about 90% through. While resting it will continue to cook, and then in addition to that, while steaming it will also continue to cook. Yeah, so here I have it's almost like a marriage between a wok and a frying pan over medium heat. I'm adding in some sesame oil, followed by some garlic and ginger. I'm going to wake those 2 ingredients up, and then I'm going to be adding in my Chinese all-purpose seasoning, soy sauce, hoisin sauce, and sugar. I want to quickly mix these ingredients until they're evenly incorporated, because the last thing I want to do is add in my minced chicken. The reason for that is because the chicken will cook very fast, and I don't want to overcook the chicken and draw too much moisture. Alright, so just going to continue to let this cook until all the chicken is cooked. You'll see the cooked part starting to turn color. So I'm going to transfer this to a plate and allow it to cool. Right, so here we have the pan over medium to high heat, going in with some sesame oil. This is very similar like to how we cooked the chicken. Garlic, ginger. Gonna wake up these 2 ingredients. Then I'm going in with some Xaoxing wine or rice wine vinegar and a pinch of cayenne. Right, now we're going in with our minced shrimp. So you want to break up the shrimp to help prevent it from sticking together. And I'm doing this over high heat, very similar to the chicken, because I don't want to dry out the shrimp. And just like the chicken and the pork, I'm gonna cook this about 90 to 95% of the way through, because while it's cooling, it's gonna continue to cook, and it'll also continue to cook when the pows are steaming. Alright, so I'm switching off the heat here. Just season with salt. Add some freshly diced chive, just to help with the overall aroma and add some color to the shrimp. Mix this in, and that's it. Time to make our pows now. Alright, so for our pow dough, the first thing we have to do is activate our yeast. So for that, I have a cup of warm water. I'm gonna add in my sugar. I'm using white sugar because you know pows are traditionally white. The brown sugar will change the color of the pow, so we don't want that. And then I'm gonna mix in our instant yeast. This will help to kickstart the fermentation process. Right, so now that most of the sugar has dissolved, what I want to do now is cover it, and we're just going to leave him to sit for 10 minutes and allow the yeast to activate. Alright, so it's been 10 minutes. So before I even stir it, you could see all the foam that has risen to the top. The liquid has increased in volume. This tells me that our yeast is activated. So I'm just going to give it one more stir. I'm adding in some salt to our lotus cake flour. That has already been sifted. Now I know because we're making a savory item, people might wonder why am I using cake flour, but because pows are so moist and delicate and tender, a flour with less gluten and a flour that's able to retain more moisture is a better flour to use as compared to traditional bread flour or all-purpose flour. So I'm just mixing in my salt. Then I'm going to make a well in the middle and add my liquid. Alright, and then last but not least, I'm adding in my lotus soya bean oil. Alright, so I'm just going to use my finger to hydrate our flour mixture. So I'm going to slowly incorporate the flour into the liquid. And so here I'm just folding over the dough and using my hands to scrape the sides of the bowl while I simultaneously bring the dough into the center, because I want my hydrated dough to absorb all of the dried pieces of flour at the bottom of the bowl. You ever watch your granny make bread or anything with flour and see the whole bowl clean every time she done? This is why, because while she kneading, she's scraping the bowl and cleaning the bowl with the dough. And to knead, I'm not applying much pressure. I'm just folding it into itself and rotating 90 degrees. Folding into itself, rotating 90 degrees. Alright, so once the dough is together, I'm going to transfer it to my counter and continue to knead. Now, if you feel more comfortable doing it in a bowl, feel free to do that, but I'm just accustomed kneading it on a counter. I prefer this way. So I'm just going to continue to knead to bring in the dough until a smooth ball forms. I mean, I'm almost halfway there. You just take a minute and see how smooth the dough is already. So I'm just going to continue to knead the flour for a few more minutes and then transfer it back to a greased bowl, then which I'll cover and allow to proof until double in size, which will take about anywhere between an hour and 90 minutes. Alright, so if I could just ask Rhett to come in here and he could show how smooth the ball of dough is. So he's good. No more mixing needed. Yeah, so what I'll do, I'll just pull him to the side, bring the bowl in, just take some more of my lotus soybean oil, just drop about a half a tablespoon in. I'm using the top side of my dough to spread it around, and then flip him over in the middle, and then I'm going to cover him. You could cover it with a warm damp cloth, cling, foil, a cover for your bowl, anything. And I'm going to put it to rest in my microwave for about an hour to an hour and a half, or until it doubles in size. Alright, so our pow dough has more than doubled in size, so we're going to uncover it. I'll let Rhett come in and just show how smooth the dough is. So what we're going to do now is just punch it down to release any excess gas, transfer it onto our counter and divide it into 12 equal balls. I'm going to just cut it into 4 equal pieces and then cut each piece into 3 equal pieces. I'm just using the palm of my hand here as if it was the counter and just tuck it in the sides underneath the ball, underneath the dough, just to give you a nice, smooth, even ball. So you just want to repeat this process until you're finished and you have 12 even balls. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just cover it with a damp cloth and allow the flour to relax for 10 minutes before we fill. Right, so while our balls are resting, I'm just going to use the opportunity to cut up our char siu pork into smaller bite-sized pieces and toss it in the residual marinade, because what I did with the marinade was I put it on the fire and reduced it by half. And then I'm going to just toss it in the marinade. Right, so now that I added it in my bowl here, I'm just going to take some of our marinade that has been reduced by half and just drizzle it over. Give this a mix. If I need to add more sauce, I'll go ahead and do that. I have a very special friend here. I have Rhett's mom, my mom's identical twin. No, this is not my mom. This is Rhett's mom, Aunty Gizelle. So Giz is a big fan of the Pows, so we thought it best that she comes and helps me make it. So our Pows are ready to fill. You ever made Pows before, Auntie?
No.
No.
I only know how to eat them. Buy them, steam them, eat them.
Oh, God. So it's real simple. So we just turning it over, and then we're just going to take the sides. So I'll demonstrate with this one, and just gently spread the sides open, not the center.
Just the sides.
Yeah, just the sides. And then we take in roughly a tablespoon and drop it right in the middle. And then you're just going to gently bring the sides up. I mean, if you want to use your left thumb to push the filling in. And then you just gently squeeze. Now, everybody has different methods of sealing, but this is my way. So I'm going to try with one.
So just squeeze the end out.
Yeah, just pull it out gently.
Trying.
All right, you're going good, you're going good.
Oh, I saw the fry bake practice.
Right.
A little more?
No, that's good. And you could just take about a tablespoon and try and get him dead center.
Okay, that's enough?
Oh, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
A little goes a long way. You could, all right, put a little more.
Okay. Stingy pow.
We're not selling them, you know, this fast.
Stingy pow is that? All right, oh gosh, wait.
Take your time, that's all right. You could use your 2 hands. Take your time.
I'll stick it on with this finger.
Right. Watch. So I'm using my index and my thumb, and I'm putting it in between. Right, and then just turning it and gradually push it. Oh, yeah, man, you're getting it, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I thought you said you never make this before.
I never did.
But you eat
But
it all the time, though.
I love to play up in flour.
Right,
Love to
perfect.
make a bake.
Right, and just drop that bad boy right here. Right, so once we finish up here, we want to cover our filled Pows again and allow it to rest for 5 to 10 minutes. Same reasons. We want the flour to relax before we steam them. Yeah, so Auntie and I are going to finish up here. Right, time to steam. Steamer here is ready to go. It's over low fire, gentle. Let me show you if I could come in and just show low, very gentle boil. Off camera, I went ahead and lined each one with parchment paper. This helps to prevent any scab below the pow and also helps to prevent it from sticking to your steamer and from each other. Right, so we have 12. You want to kind of keep them together. So I'm going in with the pork first, then I'm going in with the chicken. I'm gonna try and remember how we did this. And allow this to steam gently for 15 minutes. All right, so we just at the halfway point here, so we just wanna give you a little sneak peek so you can see how the pows have continued to rise in the steamer. All right, Auntie, so I'll bring you back for the most important part. Time to
Sure.
taste. Right, so look at this boy, he picking out, he ready for me to go.
One
So
that I fill up. So it's big and fat.
I'm gonna open it up for her to see. I'll let you do the honors, Auntie.
Good.
Hot.
Hot and nice.
Is it how you remember? Nice and soft, enough filling. Good to go. So now you know, you can make pork,
Cheers and
chicken,
go.
shrimp.
Cheers to the Pows. Where you go? Where this one go?